as investment advice or a recommendation to buy shares in the company featured. Welcome to this Stockbox interview. Joining me on Stockbox today is Malcolm Palle, the co-founder and executive chairman of Coinsilium, the blockchain and open finance venture builder listed on the Aquis Exchange in London and the OTCQB markets in New York. Good to have you on again, Malcolm. How are you?
I'm fine, thank you, Mark. How are you doing?
Yeah, very good. Thank you, Malcolm. Very good. It's good to be catching up. Of course, there's been a few pieces of news that we're going to discuss today. Let's start with the MOU that you've signed to establish Gibraltar NFT, that's non-fungible token technology development studio. So, sounds very fancy. Yeah. What's it all about, Malcolm?
Well, this is really the second piece of news that we've released related to our foray into the NFT space, which is extremely hot, and it's moving far faster than we ever imagined. And the reason for it, you're seeing a lot of articles about artwork and selling for millions of dollars using non-fungible token technology. So, as with all things, that come from left field and explode, there's loads of people out there, particularly investors, who've got a lot of catching up to do. And even from our side, it's exploding. So we also need to just keep up with the day-to-day occurrences of all the news. And Eddie's in so much demand for export. Eddie Travier, our CEO, for expert opinions. We've got 3 articles. I think the first one came out recently where he was talking about some incidents of fraud on NFTs and how, ways to combat that. We've also got a couple of other pieces of commentary and the explosive growth. So there'll be no shortage of opportunities to promote Coinsilium in this space. But we said the first NFT project was our Gibraltar crypto stamp, which we'll be releasing sometime in Q2. The stamp will have a release date for that very shortly, and the NFT will be sort of on the back of that. So we will be putting out a general announcement. But the key to that is that we have to announce when they go on sale, because there's so many potential pre-orders. We're having to sort of get all the timelines right, so we'll make sure that Gibraltar Stamps, who are selling the physical stamp, are ready to actually open sales for the stamp when it arrives. And we also need to ensure that all the elements of our side are aligned so that the NFT registration can be live when the stamp's live. So a lot of moving parts there, and we expect to be able to announce something about that soon. This is leading to finally the actual announcement today that we put out regarding the NFT technology studio in Gibraltar, which is really, think about it as a sort of a picks and shovels play, because of the demand for, you see all these NFTs coming up, but people had to build and design them. And you're only seeing them in certain sectors at the moment, particularly gaming and art. And notably, the biggest, first early mover was the NBA, the National Basketball Association, which has created a product called Top Shot. And they are tokenizing through unique NFTs sporting moments, and they've reached about 250 million in sales in they're called NFT moments as of last week since they started. So that's an indication of when you get the right token, the right NFT, the right product in the right hands, how popular these are becoming. But of course, they're just, someone to actually understand what they do, think about it in terms of a collectible for, these Panini football cards, which kids used to collect and people collect now. Some of them are worth a fortune, but they're physical. These are digital versions of them, which is really for this generation. So our studio, which we signed the MOU. We are going to be working at an accelerated pace to actually formalize agreements. There's a few to be put in place, but fortunately, our joint venture or potential joint venture partners are going to be Indorse, a company that Coinsilium owns 10% of. We incubated them. We know each other very well. So there's no sort of getting to know you requirements here. It's just about us sort of doing things we need to do. So those guys built the Indorse platform, which is their recruitment tech and network of engineers, which is blockchain powered. They built that from the ground up themselves because their CEO, Gurang Turvakar, who's the tech lead, is a computer software engineer, and he knows how to build solutions. And importantly for Coinsilium, one of our cornerstone sort of strategies is going to be to enable NFTs, non-fungible tokens, to be built on the Bitcoin network. At the moment, there are other networks for them, and Bitcoin isn't enabled effectively for NFTs. So we're going to be focused on building a bridge, and that's the key to actually open up an enormous market. So I think investors are probably not going to know or see the scope as much as people in the various industries that kind of are supported by NFTs, and particularly those in the blockchain space. But it will become apparent how significant that is once we start seeing the applications and the opportunities there. So yes, it's a design studio, as in we're going to develop for third parties, but we're also going to have our own products and our own projects that we're going to be working on in-house. So it's wonderful for us to actually it will be hopefully wonderful for us to be in that position. And of course, that's another arm in our venture building, which means another revenue generative opportunity. Of course, that the proof will be in the pudding, because you don't predict how much business you're going to get before the shop opens. But again, when you compare where we are with a lot of other players in this space, I think that our market cap at the moment, whilst it's increased a lot, it still lags behind. But so be it. We kind of we see that as valuations go up in this space, I think we've got a good opportunity to play catch up there.
Okay, so you're right when you say it's another venture to build on, another arm to the business. I understand that. And so you've created this venture, you've called it Nifty Labs. And one of the key things were you saying to build this bridge, so that's to allow NFTs to be developed on the Bitcoin network.
We won't. Well, it'll allow them, but we'll also be developing them ourselves. Okay. So we'll have a ability to actually do that.
And that's better than the way things are at the moment, because.
Okay. Well, I mean, there are challenges with Ethereum is the main network for non-fungible tokens, but there are tremendous challenges on that network right now because of the gas charges, and those are the fees that people pay to actually use the network, and they're exceptionally high because the network is extremely congested. And that's but that won't go on forever. That fluctuates, it's up and down, but ultimately it's not handling the traffic as efficiently and as cost effectively as it needs to. But of course, if we can build this bridge onto the Bitcoin network, then we anticipate reducing the fees drastically.
Okay, I see. And will the studio be developing other things as well, or is this the main focus for now?
It will be doing work for third parties.
Mm-hmm.
We're already getting inquiries, so this is obviously the basis of that, that need anything to do with NFTs. And it's not just art and gaming. There's a lot more applications for that as well. So think about the bridge will be something that we will delegate to our developers to actually solve that issue, and that will be hopefully supported by RSK's team, so that we can integrate that as quickly as possible. Once the bridge is there, then it will be available to be used, but we will be at the front of the queue.
Okay.
If you see what I mean, with all because and there'll be a lot of things that we'll be putting in there that will allow us to create products that we can offer to other people and to bring other partners in.
Okay. So I wonder if I can just touch on RSK, the technology, and Indorse, the company. Now, of course, they're not. Indorse has been a long-term partner of, or long-term. You've been involved with Indorse for quite a long time as Coinsilium, haven't you?
Yes.
Yes. Okay. So can you just explain a little bit about Indorse, the company, and RSK, the technology?
Okay. Well, yeah, they're quite separate. Indorse are Coinsilium's technology partner in terms of they're going to be the partner in Nifty Labs, and we are bringing the relationships, essentially the funding, and also the kind of commercial skills, if you like, and connections to plug Nifty into a broad market of potential clients and also strategic partners. Indorse as a team will be handling the technology development, and so the project management in that regard, and that's really going to be sort of the overlap. The project management will probably involve more of Eddie as well. So that's what Indorse, the company, brings to Nifty Labs. But we're building the solution or the solutions, and not exclusively on RSK, but that's the obvious for us. So there will be some products that people might want us to develop, which won't be on the RSK network, because it'll still take a bit of time before that's ready and stable. But in the meantime, there's other blockchains that we can actually create solutions for.
Okay.
But as I said before, it's a kind of picks and shovels business. If the industry's on fire, people are going to need to go to places, and there aren't many NFT focused design studios with the skills to actually do this stuff. Okay. So it is very exciting in that regard.
And talking then about the market or the sector being on fire, certainly I'm seeing a lot more tweets, a lot more chat around NFTs. It is becoming something that seems to be coming a bit more into the public eye. Where do you feel the market is going and the opportunity it presents in the future?
What you're seeing is a market driven by the first mover kind of the first mover products and services, which are art is becoming big simply because artists have actually discovered it. They're always sort of avant-garde, so they're always looking for things, and the intersection between art and technology is it's quite a volatile one, and it's also of a certain generation. But you're seeing the likes of Christie's recognizing the potential and hosting exhibitions and auctions for digital artwork as well. So it's not that was the first out of the traps. Also is an obvious one. Although we're looking at this and we're talking to people about how that can work, which is really I'm not a gamer, but gamers spend enormous amount of time building up their kind of skills and status in a game, and that sometimes involves buying add-ons and various other tools that they get to a certain level with. Now in the sort of the walled garden of gaming, like the likes of Fortnite, which is huge, there's loads of things people can buy, within the game. But once you're out of the game, they've got no value. And there's now a growing number of open source kind of applications where you can then sort of move on out the game, and you might want to sell whatever you've created or whatever you've achieved to someone who's coming into it new. And this is something that NFTs are perfect for. So it's a very early stage kind of, we're at the nascent stage in this industry, and this sort of offshoot of blockchain, and people are really discovering what it can be used for. But we're now seeing it's very too early to actually sort of talk in too much detail about it, because as I said, we're conscious we don't want to put the cart before the horse. But suffice to say, people know that we're in it, what we're doing, and there's applications in gaming which are very, very interesting, which are sort of mentioned, referred to earlier. But there's also, there's art is going to be big, but I think you're going to find music is going to be another one, which we spoke about, several months ago, which we think is going to be an interesting one, because music artists, haven't been able to do concert tours. So they're going to look for other alternative ways of engaging with their fans, and possibly communicating and monetizing their fan bases as well. So, we're having conversations along those lines. But the key is we've been having conversations for a while, but we've not been able to provide a solution to people. Now with Nifty Labs, we can actually do that. We can provide the solutions.
Okay, fantastic. Well, it's great to be at this stage then, Malcolm. It must be quite exciting for you.
Well, we've sort of been excited for 6 months or so. This was the earliest chance we had to talk about what we're doing with the market, and whilst, at the MOU stage, people are still sort of getting their heads around it, and, possibly the expectation that it's going to happen, but it's still not the same as the actual final agreement. So, we're working towards this and various other things. It's an exciting time for sure to be in the industry, and hopefully more investors will spend the time to learn about what the potential of NFTs are, and they'll hopefully look at this and see where the roads lead to, which is Coinsilium.
Okay, fantastic. Well, Malcolm Palle there, the co-founder and executive chairman of Coinsilium, thank you very much for your time.
Pleasure. Thank you, Mark.
Thank you for listening to this Stockbox interview. For more information, interviews and videos, visit our website at stockboxmedia.com, or give us a follow on Twitter by searching @StockboxMedia.